This episode sponsored by Lake Monster Details, producing the Don's Light and Magic Legacy line of parts, offering upgrade parts and decals for accuracy, special effects, and lighting. Visit www.lakemonsterdetails.com and make it glow. Hey, what's up guys? Will here. Welcome back to Molly from the Ensign's Chair. This is episode 9 of my 1 through 50 NX-01 Enterprise build. And I'm back from vacation. I was able to get some stuff done before I actually went on vacation because my schedule's kind of changed for work a little bit to where I'm able to be home during the week some now. So fortunately I've been able to put a little more work into it during the week. So that week leading up to when I went on vacation last weekend, I was able to get some stuff done. So, I'm just going to bring up to speed on that. I got some other things I'm going to show you real quick that I got in for future builds. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at where I'm at and I'll show you how I got there. And give me a minute, put you on the bench, we'll get to work. Alright guys, so here we are on the bench. As you can see, I've got this pretty well set and just about ready to go together. Almost ready to seal up the saucer, a couple little things to work on. So we'll talk about that in a second. I did want to mention, you know, I'm doing this build for Brian, and I'm kind of working on in the background. I'm looking at doing my own build on the side, and I'm going to do a little bit of a review. Like I said, there's some things I learned building Brian's model here that I would do differently on future builds. So I kind of want to do a separate little kind of follow up to that, a supplement after I get this done, and show you what my recommendations are from what I learned from here as far as some things to do. So. But real quick, just talk about a couple things I ordered. I love ordering from HDA Modelworx because being in New Mexico, I'm pretty much right next door to HDA Modelworx. They're out of Texas, and if I ordered stuff, all this stuff I've got, I ordered on Wednesday before I went on vacation, and it was fortunately in my mailbox on Friday. So. Again, these aren't things I'm adding to this model, doing this build, but I will do them on my personal build and I'll do a follow-up. But one of the things I got in was the paragraphic set for the NX-01. And one of the great things about this, I had shown you one of the parts I had ordered off of Shapeways to do the shuttle bay. And this comes with a photo etch set for the shuttle bay. Not to go with the part from Shapeways, but its own individual part. But the great thing about this is you get the detail and all that out of the photo etch set, but on top of that, HDA Modelworx makes a decal set that goes with that photo etch set. So you get that detail, plus you get the painting that, you know, almost looks like painted on. By the time I get done with this, it will. But you know, without actually having to paint. So I've got the decals to do the shuttle bay with on my personal build when I do it. And so that's one thing I got in that's great. One thing to look into if you're looking to do this model, I think I'm going to use that instead of the Shapeways part actually, because there's a lot more detail in the paragraphics part than there was in the Shapeways. The Shapeways just didn't have a whole lot of detail to it, so I wasn't really happy with it. But now that I've seen this photo etch part, I'm definitely going to use that to do my build. But so on top of that, I ordered some more LEDs. I was getting low on LEDs. I ran out of the white 3mm, so I ordered some of these 1.8s from HDA Modelworx. And the great thing is it comes in 10-pack, but it also comes with the appropriate resistors. More than enough resistors, it looks like, for the LEDs I've got. But so it comes with the appropriate resistors, so there's no guesswork on what resistor to use on these LEDs. So that's great to have. So I got these in the bright white, and I got them in the warm white as well. So I've got those for future builds. And another thing I've got is, and these actually I ordered these off of eBay, but these are pre-wired 3mm LEDs in different colors. And so I've got some pre-wired, and they already got the resistor and everything on them. So all you do is wire them up, and they're ready to go. I'll try to remember to put the link down below when I post this video. But see, I got them in blue, These ones are just plain white. You can tell by the sticker on there. They did make some of these, I saw, that where the wires are the color of the light bulb, which would probably be good to have. Because once you take these out of the package, you're not going to know what they are until you hook a battery or something up to it. But I got them in white, got them in yellow, red, and green. And one more color is, I'm not even sure what color this is. It's got like a gold color to it. It might be a warm white. I'll have to look that up and see what color that is. But it's got a gold sticker on it, so we'll see. But on top of that, I just dropped these, so give me a second. The great thing about it is it comes with these little pieces that you can glue into your model, and it's for mounting those LEDs in place. So that's really cool to have too. So I've got all these. I've got plenty of LEDs to hold me up for a while, do a couple builds. I got that, but also from HDA Modelworx, I decided to jump in, and I had seen somebody else talking about this, but I know Boyd over at TrekWorks recommends this stuff, but it's wire wrapping wire from, and I got this from HDA Modelworx, and it doesn't cost that much. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but these 2 reels, and you get a ton of it. I mean, these things, they're heavy. They've got plenty of wire on it. You can probably see a little bit of that wire right there. You see how that is. But in comparison to magnet wire, it's a little bit thicker. I don't know if that's going to come up on camera very well, but if you can see that, it's a little bit thicker than the magnet wire, which is right here in my right hand. So I'll still use this magnet wire from time to time, but like Boyd points out, it's very springy. This stuff isn't as springy, and hopefully this stuff takes a solder connection a little better than the magnet wire too, because I've had problems with getting a good solder connection on the magnet wire, but that could just be my lack of experience working with it and doing soldering on it. But so anyway, those are a couple things I got in, again, to use on future builds that I thought I'd share. For those of you that are, you know, always looking for new products. But at any rate, so let's take a look at where we're at here on our build. So I've just got this saucer laid on here. Move this light back a little bit. So we'll pick this up, and you can see where I've got all my wiring worked out. I did have to go in and add a couple things. First off, on the back here, and I told you I was going to mention when I thought something should be put in place before you do your initial color. So this one piece back here just kind of sits in a recessed area, and probably should put that in place before you even paint your overall hole, because, or the saucer section, because now what I got to do is come back in and I've got to repaint. There's a edge here where this piece just sets down in there, and so I'm going to have to paint this over again and do some touch up on it. So save a step, just go ahead and put it in there before you even paint your model, and go ahead and get that painted. And you know, if you want to do some putty in here to take that seam out, there's actually supposed to be a red line that kind of blends this seam in. I don't know if it's on the decal sheet or not. I got to look at it. If it's not, then I may have to go in and putty that just to get rid of it. But there's a little bit of a seam here. So also going off of that, these back doors back here, which I guess are more cargo bays, but there's supposed to be a light that shines down on these back doors. And if it's hard to tell where I'm pointing at right now, you'll see better than me. I'll pull the camera down and show you, but I'll do that after I get everything lit up. But what I did to get the light to shine down on these was I took a piece of 0.75 fiber optic, and again, like I had showed in the previous episode, I hot glued it to an LED. I drilled the hole in the LED and then hot glued that fiber to it. And I was able to bend that fiber. And actually, let me take this camera down because I know this is going to be hard to see because it's so small. But you'll see here is where I've got that bent. I bent that fiber at a 90-degree angle and was able to slide the rest of it into the back section here just through a hole I drilled just under the, I guess you could say, skin of the inside of the saucer. And I was able to get that drilled through there, hook it to the LED, and you'll see that effect here in a minute. I did that on both sides. and it turned out pretty well. Again, I'll show that in a minute. Another thing I did was this back section where this observation tower, or I think that's what it is back here in the back. I had been trying to put an LED in here before, and one time the LED was not the correct color, was bright white, and it just looked odd from the rest of the windows. And then I tried putting a warm white in there when I got those 1.5s, and it was just way bright. So what I ended up doing was, as you can see, I just took my Dremel and Dremeled this open. And it's an open area here now, so the light can shine up through here without adding an additional LED. And I'll show you that here when I get it hooked up and turn the lights on. But that worked out really well. I like the way it lights up now. I've got to go back and redo that tower. I didn't like the way it turned out originally, so I stripped it off and going to repaint it. So the only other thing I did was I added some LEDs up front here for those steady on lights. Now these are 5mm because I ran out of the 3 at the time. But it's fine because there's plenty of room up in this part of the saucer to fit that 5mm LED. So all I did was wire that in, and then I wired it into the existing wires I had running for my spotlights for the bottom cargo bays. And it's all wired in, ready to go. Only thing I've got to do is I did go ahead and put these LEDs in place down here. And I'm going to wire these up when I'm ready to put the saucer section together. And also, as you can see up here, I've got the deflector dish in place. And that backlight work done on this as far as making it blue. Originally I painted this part with my Tamiya transparent blue, and I didn't like the shade of blue I was getting off it. So what I actually added in back here, I had a piece of the filming gel, or light gel, whatever you want to call it, that I picked up before. This is like a violet color, but because I added the blue already, it comes through as more of a blue color, and you'll see that in a minute. But I like the shade of blue that comes out of this now. It's a darker blue. To me it looks better and closer to what you would expect from that. So with that, everything's pretty much, put you back up here, stop making everybody dizzy. Everything's pretty much hooked up, like I said, except for those bottom navs. Those are the only things I've got to hook up now. And what we'll do is I'll get this in place. And we'll see what she looks like. Alright. Here we go. And I'll turn this light off so you can see a little bit better. But there she is. She's all lit up. All of our lights are working. You can see we've got our strobe back here. Our navs are working on both sides. We've got our strobe behind the bridge here that's working. And everything else is lit up pretty well. I really like the way that these windows are all lit up. And we've got our navs, and you can see we've got that steady on light back here that's lit up as well. And let me slide this, and I'll take the camera down so you can spin you around here so you can see that navigation dish in the front. Hang on everybody, 1 second. And we'll come around this side and take a look at that that navigational deflector, and you see the light through that's coming through pretty good. And the color's really nice too. I like the color that's coming through on that. But yeah, so you can see we're getting pretty close. I'm about ready to seal her up. Just a couple things to work on the inside. You see I've got my different color lights on each side up here. Spotlights, giving a little bit of light. Not as much as it I would like to have seen, but you've got a very small area to deal with. Putting the fiber optic through there is about the only way I saw to do it. But yeah, so I don't even think I'm going to frost the windows on the inside here because I like the color that's coming through. I'm worried about putting white on that and it affecting the color coming through. It may not, but there's no point taking the chance. You don't have any hot spots because the lights are all on the underside of the saucer pointing down. And even from the underside, you don't really get a bad spotlight effect or a bad effect out of that. As you can see, you don't get a whole lot of hot spots there. So I think I'm going to leave that as it is and not worry about painting that white. So the only thing I got left to do is I'm still working on my my coloring of the deflector dish, as you can see here. Still not completely happy with the coloring on it. This should be a yellowish color, which you're seeing there, but I think I need to remove the green. I put a little bit of green to it, and I think I put maybe a little bit too much. But it's pretty close. I think when I paint, the part I'm actually going to use is up here. It's still clear. If I can get my hands on it. Got longer fingernails, it's probably easier. But that's the part I got to paint yet. And what I'm doing is I'm using some Tamiya fine white primer, and I'm just dusting a little bit of let me turn this light back on up here. Just dusting a little bit of clear Tamiya yellow on the inside of this, and it's giving it a little bit of an off-white look to it. But like I said, there's a little bit of green tint on this I put on. I don't think I need the green. I think we'll be fine with just a little bit of the yellow dusting on it, and I think we'll go with that. So the only other thing I'm working on is these back pieces here, and I've got to put these pieces in yet. But there's no clear part. This part here is supposed to be a blue light, almost like I've been referring to it as a secondary impulse engine. And what I've done is I've painted this and I've light blocked the back except where I want the light to come through. You can see there. And what that does is when you put a light behind it, you can see that blue is going to come through just fine. It's not supposed to be a very bright blue, a very bright light, but there is supposed to be some kind of a blue light coming from there. And so I've got that worked out, and I'm going to get that put in place. Let me sit you back up here, making everybody dizzy moving this camera around. But so other than that, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. I've got everything ready to go. I've got to redo my tower back here, which I can do at any point after I get this together. I haven't worked on the light blocking since I had to take this back end apart. I'm going to just put everything together, and once I get everything together, then I'll work on the light blocking all at one time instead of having to make a couple different batches of that slush or the slurry that I make with the perfect plastic putty. Rather than having to do that a couple different times, I'm just going to get this whole model together, and then I'll come back over the entire thing and do the rest of the light blocking. The only light blocking I'm concerned about right now, and I've turned this light out and I've flipped it over and taken a look at it. But matter of fact, let me flip it over real quick. Let me unplug it. But I flipped it over and turned the lights out and looked to see, make sure I'm not getting any kind of light bleed through the plastic itself. Keep this on the cloth here. I don't want to scratch it up. Again, I'll just plug this in real quick. Alright. But turn the light off and I look, and I'm looking, and of course the room's darker when I do this, but I'm just looking for any light bleed through the plastic itself where maybe I didn't get enough of a darker, enough of a light blocking coat on the inside. But everything looks good. You know, we've got these steady-ons at the back of the, if I can move that out the way, at the back of our nacelles here. So that's on, that's good to go. We've got our flashing strobe right here. And like I said, the navs I have not hooked up front here yet for the bottom. So we'll get those hooked up. Our spotlights are working on both sides. So the main thing is just checking over, making sure all the lights are working. Making sure I don't have any bleed through the plastic itself. The seams I'm not worried about. I'll come back and work on the seams. So anyway, that's where I'm at. It's looking good. We've got her just about there, and finish up the light blocking on it, and we'll get some decals put on her. And I'm waiting. I've got a set of decals being worked on for this. I don't want to say who is doing it or how long it's going to be until they're ready to announce it, but somebody is working on putting out a set of the 1350 Aztecs for this, and I've seen the preliminary work, and it's going to rival the ones that A Creation is putting out. So can't wait to get a set of those and try them out on this and get this to Brian so we can be done with this build so I can move on to doing something else. maybe I'll make time to actually do my own build or build something for myself. But it's been an enjoyable build. I really like this model, despite the imperfections in it and the work that has to be done to it to get it together and to get it looking good. One thing I am going to have to look at when the time comes to get this together is the angle of these nacelles. Now I can look at these and tell that both these nacelles are parallel to each other, so I'm not worried about that there. But what somebody has brought up, and I don't have it far enough yet where I can really look at it and tell, but the issue that they've mentioned they've had before is that the front of the nacelles will actually point up and not be in line or parallel to the saucer. So right now they look like they'll be alright, but I won't know for sure until I get this sealed up, because this piece back here has to slide down and fit in, and we'll see how that balances out. But right now they look good, so we'll know for sure after we finish getting the saucer section sealed up and cemented in place and see where we're at. So anyway, that's what I've got for now. That's a little bit of work I was able to get done on this before I went on vacation. And next week I should be able to get a little further along in this. Hopefully when we come back for the next episode, I'll have this ready to be sealed up. Like I said, the only thing I've got that I finalized really to get this sealed up is the deflector dish. I just want to make sure I've got that color and I'm happy with the way it looks before I seal it up. Because once this goes in, it's in. So get that done, and hopefully next video we'll have this saucer sealed up, work on finalizing light blocking, and be done with it. So at any rate, I appreciate everybody that's been watching, everybody subscribing. Please hit the subscribe button down below if you want to get the updates automatically. But if you don't want to subscribe, you don't have to, but please at least hit that like button below, give me a comment, let me know how I'm doing. But anyway, until next time guys, keep modeling.